What's going on? This is Chris Rubio. We have Real Talk with Rubio edition segment. I can't figure it out. Episode 3, we'll say. We've got the great Kevin Ballinger. Ballinger has been a long time Rubio long snapping guy on and off the field. Ballinger, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for having me on. What a pleasure. What just an amazing accomplishment in my life to be on this show.
Okay, for people that don't know who you are or what you're about, who are you? Who is Ballinger? How are you affiliated with Rubio long snapping?
Great question. So back in my playing days, I was a backup to a guy named John Finch, and not a lot of people know about him. Not a lot of people like him, to be honest. But he and I would talk all practice, obviously, because we don't have a lot else going on except for the 5-10 minutes that were needed. And one day he started talking about a guy he found on Twitter that just does long snapping. And he was like, you got to follow this guy. You got to follow this guy. So we met on Twitter, and I started going to / working some camps. And I think we've talked every day since. And that would have been 2008, 9.
Yeah. So, we talked about it last week with Finch about the Pen Pals text message group chat. And I think you, Finch, and Christian actually started group texts. I don't think they were a thing before. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's correct.
Trailblazers.
That's what we are. That's what we are. So, hey, we're going to go through 5 quick questions. Kind of funny to see what we got going on here. Number 1. Now, I know you've got kids. You've got 3 girls, 2 girls,
3 beautiful little girls.
3 beautiful little girls. Yes, they are very pretty. You're going to have some trouble in high school. So 3 beautiful little girls, and they're all under 5 years old.
5, 3, and 2. So we had 3 under 3 for a couple weeks.
Oh God, nightmare scenario. Yeah. Okay, so you're used to snack foods. I want you to tell me now. Your daughters are not relevant in this conversation. This is just Ballinger. Give me your top 5 snack foods.
Snack foods. Okay, so number 1 food. Chips. That's my number 1 food for anything. I almost named my first daughter, if she was going to be a boy, her name was going to be Chip. That's how much I love chips.
Okay, hold on. What's your top chip?
I mean, if I have to just pick one, I'm going to go tortilla because of the versatility.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could just do top 5 chips, but
are chips your top 5 snacks?
Yeah, top 5 everything. Snacks, food. Loves genre of food. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do top 5 chips because I'm kind of interested now. Tortilla's number 1, I'm assuming.
Tortilla 1. Number 2, Cool Ranch Doritos.
Cool Ranch Dorito.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive when you get that one Cool Ranch Dorito that's just been OD'd in the Cool Ranchness.
Nothing better.
Nothing.
Except the tortilla chip because I have them at number 2. But okay, shoot. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go Fritos 3. I know that controversial, but I'm going Fritos 3.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, good walking taco. Again, versatility. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Those 3. Number 4, we're going sour cream and onion.
Oh, it's a good one. Very good one.
Have to. Number 5. Oh boy, I'm gonna give a nod to salt and vinegar. Again, controversial, but this is my list.
Wow. Okay, so now what are you washing those all down with? What's your favorite beverage of choice?
Oh, so in my house we call them spicy waters, but it's just like a Topo Chico, like a LaCroix.
Oh, okay, so, very chic.
Yeah. So give me like a grapefruit, citrus, spicy water. That's what I'll take.
I feel like with all this salt and vinegar and citrus, you got a lot of canker sores in your time?
Is that what those are?
Yeah.
Is that what that
I'm pretty sure that you got an issue with those, man.
I thought I just had a bad mouth.
All right. Ballinger, tell me about your story of how you got through long snapping from high school to what you're doing now.
Sure. So I went to a very small high school, very small school, and you could basically play whatever position you wanted.
Where was this?
Bluffton, Indiana.
Okay.
Home of the Tigers for life. So I was the only one that could long snap.
Oh,
And so sophomore year, I started playing varsity, just long snapping. So at my school, you could letter you had to play, I think it was 5 quarters. So the first 5 quarters of the year, I lettered sophomore year because we
okay.
punted so much. We were not very good.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, shocking. Um, so yeah, that just kind of progressed. I did it all the way through senior year. And, it was something because I went to a small school that I didn't have many plays off, offense or defense. So I wouldn't say it was my favorite thing. But it was, it was cool that I could do it, but I didn't have the luxury of camps.
Yeah.
So, and then I went to college, and a buddy of mine was an athletic director at Purdue, or athletic trainer at Purdue. Athletic director would have helped a little bit more. But he was like, "Hey, they're having tryouts. Can't you punt or something?" I was like, "Kinda. I mean, I could kick a ball around. I can throw it better. I can long snap better." He's like, "Yeah, why don't you come do that?" So I tried out, and somehow made it. They told me we're going to put you on a 2-week trial, and I was scared. I didn't know where to go, what to do. This is a whole new level for me. I just, I went to Purdue to go to Purdue, not to play football, and then
Yeah.
I find myself on the team. And so after that 2-week trial, I'm still there. So about a month in, I go out to a coach and I'm like, "Hey, like, am I on the team or anything?" He's like, "Well, you're standing here, aren't you?" And after that, I didn't question it. So after our bowl game freshman year, I was told that the team had to make some cuts. Turned out the only cut was me. So I was cut. So sophomore year, I was in the stands. I was in the student section.
Did you have a good time
Um,
there?
uh, Good times were had. You know
Okay.
that. I even painted my chest for a couple of guys on the team that I became friends with. One being John Finch. I regret that. The other being Chris Stotts, the greatest holder to ever live. But then sophomore year, during the spring, the number one guy got hurt. And they I think just needed a body for spring. So I tried out again, and I made the team. And I worked really hard to make it so that they couldn't let me go. They had to keep me. So fast forward, my 5th year, I finally got the nod, and I started doing field goals. So that was exciting because, like I said, I went to Purdue to go to Purdue, and just being able to play and be in that environment was really cool. And then I say this all the time, but it's crazy that long snapping has literally given me everything that I have in my life. I mean,
In what way? Explain.
so all of my friends in college were either people I knew from home or people I met in class, but a majority of them were football team, right? So, and even my closest friends now, I'm getting ready to go to a dinner with one of my best friends who was a backup quarterback. So he, so Finch, who I'd mentioned a couple times before, he had graduated before my senior year. That's why I got to play. I guess he left. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to move to Houston and work for Stryker?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've been to Texas before, sure." So he got me hooked up with a job, and we were roommates. And one day I saw this pretty girl walking outside of our apartment there, and that pretty girl and I now have 3 girls, and we live in Indiana. So um, when I say that it's given me everything that I got, I mean it. It's been
That's
awesome.
that is awesome. That's a very good story. You just said a lot of positives. I want you to try to tell me. The third question is: tell me one thing that was hard in your life that you overcame.
With long snapping.
It doesn't. No, it could be anything. It could be you had canker sores and you just figured out why.
Well, now that I know what those are, um, something hard in my life that I've had to overcome. Man, I've had a pretty easy life, if I'm being honest. Um, Something hard in my life. Sure. So I wouldn't say I'm a natural at anything. I do my best to make things look easy. Um, but everything that I do, I've had to try really hard for. My first love was basketball, and I kind of get into that as why. My brother was. I'm only 6'3", which sounds great, but my brother's 6'9". He was a generational talent in basketball, and he won a national championship at Michigan State. So I, always trying to live up to that, but I had to work so hard just to get to where I was, which wasn't great. In my mind, I thought I was great. And then, just in long snapping, I came in and it was 182 pounds, soaking wet. I left at about 245.
Jesus.
So there was some work that went into that. And it wasn't, all a great 245, but, I benched a lot more than Finch did in college. So, that's something.
It's got to be in the record books at Purdue.
Yeah. Now that you bring it up, my 1 rep max was a record. I don't know if it still is. But for long snappers, for specialists. And I don't remember what that number was, so don't ask.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It was a lot.
Yeah. And it was above Finch.
Way above Finch.
Of course.
But I think that's been the hardest thing that I have to overcome, is having to work on every single detail to make things look easy or to get to where I want to go. Because nothing really comes naturally.
Got it. That's okay. You're a hard worker, good determination, good worker. I mean, that's what you want to be an adult. I'm sure. I mean, that's hopefully your daughters will take that as well. That's probably one of the main traits you'd want for them to have.
I hope so. Yeah, it's something I'm trying to instill in them, and them being 5, 3, and 2. That's tough, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. One of the big things about being a long snapper is I think it's a very stressful position. I always say it's at least 90% mental, 10% physical. How did you handle the stress? What advice can you give to kids about how to handle stress?
Repetitions, practicing. I always say, Finch and I would always joke, in college, we would have, like the wrist coach. We'd have play 1 and play 2. Play 1 was punt. Play 2 was field goals. Those are the only 2 things that we did. So we knew we had to be on those plays. So we would work every day in the summer, throughout the year, obviously during the season. But just being comfortable upside down in different conditions, different backgrounds, and meaning what you're seeing through your legs, whether it's 100,000 people or it's just, the practice field. And then once you know that you can do it because you've done it 10,000 times, that's where that comes from, in my opinion. So
no, I like that. That's a great answer. Great answer. All right. Last question for Ballinger. You have 1 full day of golf. It's me.
I'm in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You, me, Corey Adams.
Okay. Love
we'll
it.
Throw in Dr. Lopez, Finch,
yes,
the Yount, and maybe even Neil Dahlman. Okay. Some of the OGs.
Yeah.
It's going to be, what is it? Bandon Dunes in Oregon.
Bandon Dunes,
excuse me.
Yeah.
And then I want you to take me on a food experience throughout the day. So what we're on the course, but you have like this magic wand where food can be delivered to us. So our tea time, we'll say it's a nice cozy day. It's an offshore breeze of 68. Maybe it's going to get to 74, but you can light sweater, jacket, if you will, pants, ripaways if you want, doesn't matter. But we're going to be eating pretty much all day on the course. Take me through breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go.
From wherever I want?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to do specific places, but I'll do foods, of course.
Yeah, you don't want no sponsorship money here, so you don't need a patronize that.
No free ads. Well, obviously we're starting off with breakfast tacos. Duh. So we'll have 10 to 12 each of those.
Okay.
And then it's funny you bring up Bandon Dunes. In between each meal, we're going to have, they call them, I think they're power balls or protein balls, but they're these little like granola and peanut butter balls that they have there.
Yes.
So we'll be gnawing on those in between. So breakfast snack between power balls.
Got it.
We're just going to run through my list of chips. Each snack is going to be different chips. So then for lunch, I think we should go.
Hold on. Going back to the chips. So your first choice is tortilla. Does that mean salsa or 7-layer dip is accompaniment?
I don't care. Doesn't
Oh,
matter to me. Whatever you got.
okay.
I'll take them dry. I'll take them cheese, no cheese, salsa, whatever you got.
Okay.
I'll eat the
Noted.
whole bag. I don't care.
Got it.
So yeah, for lunch, I think we need something a little bit light. So let's go like a 3 or 4 layer, like Five Guys burger.
Oh, that's going to play with the system, Ballinger.
Yeah, well, we want to be awake during the day.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting big burgers, and I'll let you guys pick wherever you want it from. But picture like a Five Guys burger, something.
Yeah,
like
I got it.
That would be ideal. And then obviously more chips, more balls, and then dinner. We've been pretty heavy. Let's just go straight steak, no sides, steak.
Oh,
Get it however you want. I myself, medium rare guy, but I understand not all those guys are that manly.
well, if you're for the troops, you're medium rare to rare.
I am. I can't. I'm not going to speak for the other guys, but I am.
Yeah. Okay. Now we got to top it all off with a dessert.
So in my family, we make this thing called soup. It's mainly around birthdays.
I think everyone knows what soup is.
Well, okay, let me explain.
Okay.
Birthday soup. So what you do is you get a big piece of cake with all the frosting and everything, and then you get a lot of ice cream, and then you mix it up in your bowl until it's soup, and that's what you eat. So it'd be kind of like a thick shake, but it's not. It's different. It's soup.
Does the ice cream overwhelm the cake texture?
Well, you want it to a little bit. I mean, you want to be able to eat it with a spoon, but no, it all mixes together. It's a beautiful coming together of two different things that you wouldn't ever think would match. Ice cream and cake. Who would have thought?
But okay, hold on.
But it's incredible.
I hate to blow your mind here, Ballinger, or as you'd like to be called now, Vin. Wouldn't that be the exact same
like
thing
Vin
as
Diesel?
Vin. Wouldn't that be the exact same thing as just birthday cake ice cream?
No, and I'm upset you asked that.
Could you explain to me how it isn't?
Some things can't be explained, Chris.
Oh.
I'm mad at you for saying it. Those are two very different things.
Okay. Maybe I'm looking at it, or I can't see the trees through the forest, or the forest through the trees, whatever that statement is. You seem a little flustered right now, Vin. I don't want to do that to you.
I gotta go.
On that note, Kevin Ballinger, I appreciate your time. Enjoy Chicago. Give the family a big hug for me. This is episode 3 of Real Talk with Rubio.